Hello and welcome to a very special episode. We reached 50 subscribers, 1,000 views, and 100 watch hours. And I have all of it to thank for you. So I love each and every one of you for getting me to that goal. It's a small goal, but it is a goal. We've been on YouTube for about 4 months. Been on this server for about 3, and I wanted to give you something special, and we're just going to do a little bit of a world tour on this one. So let's get going. So we started off on the server about a week before the beginning of November. So yeah, towards the end of October, and we were over here at the spawn chunks, exploring around. And quite frankly, I've never been on an SMP server, so I was a little timid, but just trying to get my bearings around. And I was exploring around and went into this cave because I'm like, you know what, I probably need some iron. And as you can kind of see, there's some guys around. And I think it was right probably here where a skeleton completely blasted me. And I died. That was my first death on the server. And now I'm getting lit on fire. So I kind of respawned back at the spawn chunks, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to build this house. I didn't have very much materials. It's beautiful though, isn't it? As a kind of a little safe haven for people, and Red Stranger came over and gave me a bunch of stuff, and I put stuff in this chest to kind of pay it forward. And look at, people have been over here. So I'm going to do this again. Because you know what, you die, you end up over here, you don't really have much, and I probably should restock this with stuff over from the skeleton spawner we have over there, but yeah. So I must have boated around for a good couple hours trying to find spots, and I was looking for a plane originally, and I found this area, and I kind of like this little cove area. I wanted to build up top, and I wanted to put my first house here. And as you can see, I never really built stuff up top. That's kind of the dumping ground for everything I don't really have a build for. But yeah, so we actually ended up building our starter house on episode 1. And I love this starter house. Simple, but detailed enough. And we've stayed in here the entire time. I keep meaning to move out of this starter house. But yeah, so let's go take a closer look at it. I'm just going to put some minimal details in, but I love this little scene, and this is the first time that I actually got a chance to work with the armor stand mod. Vanilla tweaks, I love it. Yeah. So the outside's amazing, but if we got inside, it's just a complete disaster. It's always been a disaster. I got shulker boxes everywhere, and yeah, I had built a second story on this thing and never did anything with it. Yeah, so this house took a little bit of materials, and I think originally had the trees kind of out in this area here, but yeah, we kind of gathered enough, and we had a sheep pen over here for the wool, and it actually came out good. I was super duper happy with this build. Yeah, so in episode 2, we actually needed slime balls, so I built this double chunk slime farm. And in order to, mine this stuff out, I actually had to go get this beacon. So the funny thing is I had probably half of the iron, and I ended up buying the rest from the shopping district, and they ran out probably twice, and it was fun trying to get this beacon going really early on, but was able to buy the actual beacon itself from Bodhi, so that actually came out good. But the funny thing is recently I just had to disable this farm. It's been producing so much that I've got probably 7 double chests worth of slime blocks, not even balls, slime blocks. Yeah, so yeah, this has been super productive, and it actually later led to the slime shop. So as far as collection, the slimes jump off because they're attracted to iron golems. They fall down here, burn on the magma. And then if we get down below, we just have a standard minecart pickup system. So minecart runs back and forth. And then we have just a standard unloader system right here. And it's funny, I knew there was going to be a lot of slime balls coming out of this system. So kind of built this system that goes upstairs and did a bulk storage system that I never ended up completing. So yeah, I think I got this row here first just for some bulk storage up here. And I don't think I ever showed this, but I've got a spot right here where I can dump off some dirt. As you can see, it gets sucked out. And ends up here. So you can see it's starting there. But yeah, so I got this bulk storage system to go and actually put the slime over here. So this is everything that I eventually wanted to do farms for. And the funny thing is we only got these two. I do have farms for these, but never did a video on it. And there's only a couple of each. But so yeah, nowadays we have slime blocks on slime blocks, and there's chests back behind. So that was a super fun. I actually enjoyed mining out that. It was fun. And one of these days I'll actually do something with this storage system. And of course, since I made the slime farm, that led up to this slime shop in episode 3. This one was super fun to put together. So I did a little scene here. And this is the first time we did story time with Paly. So basically, we have this guy here. Little Timmy. And we made a story around this slime monster coming out of the ground. And mind you, this has changed. And we'll get to that in a little bit on why this is changing. But basically, Hicks Mountain, I didn't know was going to come out this far. So me and Hicks have been doing a little bit of collab and making his portal bigger. So yeah, the Slime Master basically came out of a portal. And we have the whole story around it that he scared this guy. And of course, the best part about this is hashtag no copyright. So yeah, that's the Ghostbusters theme, a little bit slowed down. So yeah, this is the first time that I actually messed with note blocks. And it was super fun. I absolutely loved this. So yeah, I was super happy how this came out. It was a difficult build for me. I've never built in anything like this style. And I think he came out good. I like it. He's awesome. He's fun. The next thing we built was kind of the start of expanding this into a little town, and that was this village breeder. And this was super fun to build. I originally started out not really knowing what to do. I knew I obviously needed the crop field, so I started to do that. And I wanted to hide it into a kind of a barn style, so we actually go in here. I have it blocked off right now, but let's keep lighting off fireworks. So what happens is these two breed. They can see these beds that you have CO over here. And then the babies see the bed and jump down into the tunnel here. And I've had to turn it off because there was just too many guys stacking up down below. But yeah, I wanted to hide this all, and I actually think it came out good. Beds are obviously hidden kind of back behind this haystack. And originally I had some barrels here. I didn't have this door. But what that did was let us down into here. Now this has changed a lot since then, and we'll get to that here in a second, but so basically the babies come out there, and I came through here with Frostwalker. So I'm going to have to actually fix that. And yeah, getting this villager breeder going allowed us to kind of do something here. So I kind of thought, originally I had just this one, but I wanted to expand this out. So I get this guy going. And he actually, harvests the carrots and throws them to that guy. It goes into a hopper minecart and goes down below for collection. And then I go collect them, grab them, and trade them with these guys. So this was the first time that we kind of got emeralds. And I've been doing a lot of trading, so we had a bunch here before. And the great thing is that these villagers didn't come from very far. If I'm not mistaken, the village was just around the bend here. Right there. So we basically just, followed this river and put them in a boat and was able to get them back to our town really easily. So once we got them up to this spot, I created this kind of little upstream here. So we went up, the boat got us up on this area, and I was able to just kind of boat them along and put them directly in here. And we converted these guys down. So one of them has lost the one carrot trade, but the other guy has still kept it. But that's what we've been using to kind of get some emeralds up to this point. Next on the list was the iron farm. And I originally built this one kind of underneath my starter house. Pretty standard. These guys go down to a lava blade and die down there and end up kind of in the same spot where the slime system is, and collect all the iron from there. This one's pretty standard though. So this guy's standing on top of a fence, and water is flowing backwards, so he's jumping up and down. I didn't have any name tags at the time, so I handed him an arrow. But by getting just peeking barely over that half slab, he's able to see these guys and scare them, so they start jumping in and out of the bed. And this guy actually produces about every 30 seconds, and it's fairly efficient. But I wanted to challenge myself. I'm like, I always build underground, so I want to put this into a building. So at the time, I only had these two buildings, but I was trying to find a spot where I could actually put this iron farm and encompass it in the building. And the problem was it needed to be kind of maybe on a second story, because golems spawn in a 16 by 16 around, or I'm sorry, 8, well, 16 by 16 square. So it's 8 in each direction from the villagers. And then what was it, 6 up and 6 down. So kind of needed to be a little bit above ground, but I was like, watchtower. So that's when this happened. And other than a few spots kind of over here that I put snow and leaves and stuff like that, and a few spots down there that I just kind of littered leaves around here in order to prevent the spawns, but I've got this guy in a little bit different way than the other one. This beam blocks him, so every time he goes on either side, he scares the villagers and they pop out. Iron golem down here, and he spawns here and goes into a lava blade, and the bits go into the same spot near the slime farm, and all those end up in the bulk storage underneath the starter house. And this is a fun build, kind of the first time of kind of mixing up the palettes and stuff, but I like how this came out. And then we had to landscape all this, and I wanted to get this path up there. And I remember originally that this area was a little bit weird. So it was a one wide path and it just didn't feel right. So we kind of on a stream, I think, changed this up to a 2 wide, and I had to double back on itself in order to get it up here. And I originally had plans to do a waterfall where those are dotted, those blocks. But never got around to it. We're kind of busy doing stuff within the town down there. But yeah, this is another super fun build. I absolutely loved doing this one, and it was a lot of landscaping. I had to spread out over several days, but I think that's about the time that we kind of started getting into streaming. And so I did a couple of those on the streams. Yes, so that led up to a video on landscaping, and at least how I had landscaped it at this point. I don't think much has changed. We kind of kept with the theme of, dotting rocks around and bushes and hiding torches underneath bushes and stuff like that. We've kind of continued that outwards. But yeah, so basically I kind of did a video on how I've been doing landscaping up to this point. And we kind of showed around this area. I think I got the pond in and these two paths on either side landscaped and kind of talked about how I actually do stuff. I do the rocks and stuff like that. Ah, yes, the next video. So we created this map, and that was probably the most carpet I've ever laid in my life. First, we had to level this place, which was an interesting task. I had started out over there, but there was kind of a big mountain in the way that I didn't want to deal with. Got a lot of sand out of this one, which was good. But yeah, this is the first time that I actually dealt with map art. Well, I mean, it was quite a learning experience. A lot of this I had to freehand. The picture that I went off kind of got pixelated. But this was the first time that I was trying to figure out how to do, different shades and stuff like that. So since I've done this map, I kind of learned a little bit of things. And there's a way of staircasing these so you can actually get different shades and stuff like that. The one thing I didn't like was up in the reindeer here where his face and his head meet. I wanted a little bit different shades. It actually came out okay. I mean, it works. But what you can do is staircase these blocks so that they're one higher on the north and south. And they actually ended up different shades. I didn't do that here, but I now know that we can do it for the future. But laying this white down was a lot of placing. And the good news is it comes up with, fairly easy, but it took a lot to do this one. Will I ever do another map art in the future? I don't know. I did this over the course of 2 days and it was a little bit too much for my hands, so if I had a little bit more time, I think I would spread it out and definitely do it over a week maybe, and I might enjoy it better. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the outcome. It's just, it was a real grindy one trying to get all of this carpet and all of the stuff laid out. Yeah, in order to get all of that wool, I had to create this sheep farm. And this one's fairly easy. It's basically just an observer pointing at the block that he's standing on, piece of dust, and then dispenser, which obviously has those. And the funny thing is this thing's run through 2 rows already, including the ones that were in it. But so yeah, I think at one point I was doubling up on the white wool, and then eventually it got one of each color. And I didn't want to deal with collecting that, so put item sorter down here in order to kind of separate these all out. And of course, because I had all of this wool now, that definitely led up to making a shop. But there was one thing I had to do, right before that. Ah, yes. So the next thing, because it was Christmas time, was the ice skating rink. And I originally put this together and got a bunch of heads together, and that was actually kind of grindy. I didn't have a whole lot of heads that kind of worked on this, but yeah, so basically what I did is I challenged anybody that wanted to come through and put their own head on here and rearrange the armor stands however you wanted. So a lot of the members came through and put their heads on stuff. Little scenes and stuff like that. But over here I got like a little cocoa shack. Yep, still got some cookies over here too. And a little fireplace over here, or campfire. Yeah, this was fun to put together, but I tell you what, I had a snowman hanging off this pole right here. These snow layers take a long time to place down. A long time. And I kind of dotted them around as far as you can kind of just, make a nice cozy scene over here and give it a little of a background. Yeah, this was fun to put together. I really enjoyed this one. And I think some of the server members had fun putting different scenes together also. So I kind of got everybody together and get people into the armor books, or the armor stand book if they hadn't done it yet. Yeah, super fun. And while I'm here, let's give you a little bit of a tour of the Christmas district. Since, basically we might reset before the next Christmas, or this may expand if we do stay on here, but we got a lot of amazing builders on this server. And I love how the houses look. We've even got an ice boat road course around here. And an amazing balloon. Blimp. Yeah. Christmas District is awesome. I love it. Yep, and because we had that wool farm, we decided to make a shop out of it. This was the first time that I ever did a modern build. So we built Paly's Art Center for the Chronically Untalented. Yep, you heard Paly's Art Center for the Chronically Untalented. And I love how this came out. And I didn't want to do wool, although it's kind of fitting since it's a wool shop, but I wanted to do quartz, but I didn't have access to that much quartz. So we did it out of wool. And then, you know what? It's fitting. And this was the first time that I did the warped with the spruce, and I wanted to do this kind of out of my cave area as you come out of my portal, but I didn't have access to warped, but I had finally eventually found a biome that had it, so we decided to put it here. Doesn't exactly fit, but I had to put it somewhere. So yeah, this building came out, I mean, it's simple, it's plain, and it fits very nicely. I love how this came out. And I wanted to decorate more and more in here, but, you know, put something here and put something over in this area. But yeah, so over here, we're selling the wool for 1 diamond per 64 stack. And it's been doing all right. The grays are very popular, and during Christmas time, obviously, with the red and the green. But let's go take a look upstairs. There's nothing really up here, but this is probably the one time I didn't totally deck out a build. I wanted to put, you know, kind of like chairs and stuff up here, but it didn't come out very big up here. But yeah, and then up top, we lit up as good as we can. But you'll notice that I just put carpet everywhere that wasn't lit up. So that whole entire roof is carpet. But look at the shopping district nowadays. Getting fuller and fuller. More and more stuff. We got the town hall all decorated out and nice. Love that. Jack Shack is one of the newest members. Yeah, love how this is coming out. And at some point, I forget exactly which episode, we helped Bodhi with a bunch of other people to get this nether hub together. And I think it looks amazing. It came out quite good. Yeah, we're just down the west tunnel. Got the shopping district on my right there. And we're just down here. Off to the left. So it's a quick jaunt. And we come out into my cave, and I eventually want to do something with this, but I think my portal's going to be moved because we keep going further and further away from this area to build our town. Ah, yes. So the next one on the list was the butcher shop, and I loved putting this one together. I think you guys loved it too. The video's doing really well. I think the structure of the house is really well done. And we landscaped the bejesus out of this thing. So let's go inside real quick and take a look at the house, and then we'll kind of look at the scene on the outside. So downstairs, this wasn't part of the original house, but it was the next episode after it. We built Bob a better bathroom. And then upstairs, we did a kitchen. Came out really nice. And upstairs beyond that is a bedroom. So I originally had a chair here, but I wanted the guys to be able to get to the bed, so I had originally removed that one. So they actually could pathfind to it. And so let's go outside. Like I said, I did a lot of landscaping around here, and it came out really good. And so since this is a butcher shop, I needed a place to butcher stuff. Who we got here? Dave! What's going on, Dave? Yeah, this is basically where we have our cow farm. And I just realized, I guess everything's down below, so let's go take a look at that. Back here is kind of a secret entrance to down here where everything ends up. We go grab some wheat. Push the button here. There we go. You can see the decramming. And you probably can't hear these guys real well. I have the volumes down really low. There you go. So once you feed them, everything ends up down here. And that's how we've been getting leather. And then obviously we got raw beef, which we pretty much never use. So yeah, that came out really well. And of course, Bob's a really mean guy. So he makes Dave and Mike sleep in these beds. Poor guys. These guys work all day long while Bob sits in his house and does nothing but play in his kitchen. And if I'm not mistaken, right outside of Bob's house, we had built these also. One was from Karen's, we'll get to her in a second, and the other one was Barney, but Barney ended up over in the boat here. I think I don't know why he's in this one. He keeps looking at her. Trying to sweet talk somebody here. I'm not entirely sure how Barney got over here and pathfinded to him, but he did. So this is Barney's house. He's no longer occupying it, apparently. And we just did some basic stuff inside. And then there's Karen. Yeah. Karen asked for originally pink carpet. So we gave it to her, and the very next day she decided to paint her whole entire house pink. Yeah, thanks, Karen. That looks great. And then she planted a bunch of pink plants also, so yeah. So, Karen, yeah, thank you for being pink. You're such a Karen. Oh, yeah, you're a pushy Karen too, aren't you? Yeah, that's some fun stuff. So yeah, we kind of landscaped around here, and it actually came out really nice. I like how this pond's nice and cozy. After that, we did the weaponsmith. And I love how this building came out. We used brick. Before we get over to there, we built some of these houses, and we just kept them basic. Basically just the beds to house some of the villagers that are around here. Apparently I have a cat over here. There you are. Hi, buddy. So yeah, love how this came out. This weaponsmith came out really awesome. And you got the forge over here. Kind of dotted some logs and stuff around to break up the squareness of this, because it was really boxy. And originally I didn't have these or this, but when we moved the villagers in, I needed to keep them in this place. We got 4 of them over here. And I put fences over here and here so they couldn't get out here and here. And this is kind of how I've been getting a lot of my emeralds, is from all of the iron trades. And I heard one of you guys. Like 2 of them reset, but the other 2 did not. So yeah, I mean, we got a lot of diamonds off that one. So I'm glad I set this up. I almost want to put more of these guys because it's a really good trade. Let's go take a look upstairs real quick. kind of did some little bit of decorating of these rooms here. And I decided to put 2 beds up here for each of the villagers downstairs. Sometimes they find their way up here and sometimes they don't. But yeah, but the biggest thing is getting these villagers up here, and I needed a way of doing it. Oh, I remember this cart. That was a fun cart to put together. Nice and basic. So back here, kind of hidden behind these barrels, is the way we carted in all these villagers. And I got it blocked up right now because we had a little bit of an incident with a cat coming in here and pushing. Yeah, I'm talking about you, guy. So yeah, a cat came in here, pushed the villagers, and one of them ended up in a block here and suffocated. So our infinity guy had to be redone. And actually, you know what? I'm going to block that up and we can move on to the next thing, which was getting this villager converter dungeon all together. And it's basic and I love how it came out. And this is kind of underneath the villager breeder, which dumps off into here, you saw. And what we can do is poke this button around the corner here, and you got a little bit of a minecart system that pushes up and grabs one of these villagers. And it looks like we're down to 4, which is kind of awesome. So I have some guys stashed up here, and we'll get to where these guys are going in a second. Got some guys stashed here, and then obviously that hallway that we came from way down here has all of them. And I have every single book in the game. They're not all converted down to 1 emerald, but we'll get to that. So yeah, once you poke the button and grab a new villager, once these guys are gone, this is where you would trade and basically get his trade to where you want it, and then you can lock him in. And then you'd poke the button, it would move on to the next stage. And the next stage is this guy, which I've silenced so you can't hear him. And you convert him and then you poke the button and it ends up over here. And then once you're over here, you can grab a golden apple and splash potion of weakness, splash him and convert him. And then what you can do is push him back, poke the button, and convert him down as many times as you want. Most of the villagers you do 3 times, and some of them I had to do 4 times. But yeah, I like this system, and it's working actually really well for me. And I'll show you why here in a second. Yeah, the next thing on the list was the Armor Enchanted Book Library. And this one came out interesting. Get on my pedestal up here. Yeah, so I used white terracotta and a brick mix and kind of dotted and granite on the brick. And this came out, it was simple, but you guys really liked it. So to my eyes, it's a little bit plain. I think I had more detail in my weaponsmith, but yeah, you guys really liked this one. And I am so happy you did. This was another fun one to put together. And what this was an old church that we converted into the armor because the other church, this town got a little bit big and probably moved somewhere else. And maybe eventually we'll do another church further and further into the town, which is kind of going to be that way. But this area was interesting. So I have 8 different buildings you can kind of see here. So 1 off in that corner, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that we're standing on, and 8. And this is going to house every single librarian that we have. And it's broken up into sections, like this one is for mending and unbreaking. This one over here is for the tools. This one's what? Fishing? I think we got crossbow. Yep. And bow. Got sword. And trident. Yeah, so this area is going to look really cozy. You can imagine having a building here and a building here, and you're walking along a path. Buildings there, buildings there. It's going to be really nice, tight, and cozy. I can't wait to actually get this area going. It's going to feel really nice. But let's go inside. These don't belong here, but I am super paranoid about these guys getting converted, so I want to make sure nothing can get in here. And light levels in here are high enough that nobody can spawn in here. But in this episode, we got every single armor villager fully converted down to 1 emerald plus a book for each item. So we now have every single thing you could possibly imagine. So yeah, Feather Falling, Depth Strider, Frostwalker, Aqua Infinity, Respiration, and over here you have your protections and thorns. And like I said, each one of these are traded down to 1. We got more books over here than we know what to do with, and I'll probably eventually try to sell them off. And in a future episode where we're going to make a little cemetery back here, but for now, it's landscaped enough. I need to get rid of these torches. I hate seeing torches in my area. Yeah, so I'm in love with this area, the whole entire idea of all of this. It's going to look super nice once we get it done. And I've even been thinking, we got enough space in between here. Maybe we can come down to another dock. We've got the dock. Can we get over to it? Squeeze in between these trees. We got this dock here, which I like. And of course I fell. And this area is a little bit overgrown, so you can't really get through, but that's done on purpose. Yeah, I love how this is going to come out. And I've been debating on the idea of making a mountain up here. Fairly large. And the cool thing is we get close over here. Actually, you know what? It'd probably be easier to see from here, maybe? Yeah. So you can kind of see this ridge line naturally done. I did nothing about this. I think that's going to make a super amazing mountain. And if you can imagine being, down here amongst a bunch of buildings and being able to see a big, tall, maybe even taller than that, we'll see, big mountain. I don't know how steep it'd be, but yeah, so that might be future plans. I'm still noodling around with that area. This might be turned into a lake. We'll see. Yeah, so we have 15 episodes out. The 15th isn't out yet. I'm not going to spoil that one, but it'll be out in a couple days. But this area, I'm in love with all of this. I love being able to walk amongst a town, and it just feels good. I want to try to increase my landscaping skills. Right now it looks good, but I want to find some other things to do. I know I could probably dot around some flowers and make it at least more brilliant, but I've been trying to stay away from that. So yeah, walking around here, it just feels great. So anyways, once again, I want to thank you guys so much for getting me to 50 subscribers, 1,000 views, and 100 hours of watch time. It's been a fun journey these past 3 months on the SMP server. I am trying my best to try to grow every day, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. So yeah, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, I would greatly appreciate it if you do. And if you love this content, hit that like button too. Until next time, see ya!